Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Short Pit, a NASCAR podcast. I'm your host, Kaleb Chesney. Alongside me, as usual, is my co-host, Chris. Chris, how are you?
Doing all right, sir. Doing all right. Best I can.
Yep, I hear you. We got one more show to go after this, but before we get there, we got to preview the championship.
Yep.
And William Byron locks his way into Martinsville. Can BR with us as well to talk about that. We'll go over whatever happened at Martinsville. Not a ton. Um, we can go over championship. This is probably the last. Well, this is the last year of this iteration of this playoff format. There's a couple other ideas that are being kicked around that we can kind of talk about a little bit. No, was there any miscellaneous notes hanging around here? Not really. And then we can talk about Phoenix, what's to come, and who's going to end up ultimately with this championship. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Cam, Martinsville, your guy Ryan Blaney comes in second. William Byron takes the win here. What were your thoughts on the race as a whole?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm like, they saved what was always my favorite racetrack. I mean, this was a brutal watch for about 3 years running, and whatever they did to the tire the last couple of years, they've saved this track to now it's one of the better tracks on the circuit again because it was growing up as a kid and even in my late teens in the bottom of the end of the Gen 6, it was my favorite track. And I saw a vintage Martinsville race yesterday or Sunday, and that's I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, my guy finished second, but that's the reason why they have to do something about this playoff format because I didn't care. Like, I just didn't. I mean, like, yeah, he could have went and ran for a championship, and yeah, he probably would have won because it's Phoenix. But like, what is it? What does it mean anything? Like, William Byron's won one race, is now two races on speed. Really, one whole race on speed the whole year, and is probably like the narrow favorite next week. I mean, you could argue any of the four guys, but he might be the narrow favorite next week. And what's he done all year? He goes ghost for 6 months every year. That's what I mean. It's like it's an indictment on this format that my guy finished second, missed out on the championship, and I went, okay.
BR, anything to add?
Not not really. It was a fun race to watch.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, Cam kind of summed it up good. The tire, I think, is the big thing here. I think it helps a lot, but I'm sure there's other things too. But yeah, I mean, it was a good Martinsville race. Something like Cam said, I feel like I hadn't, been seeing before this. But they've made strides at least a little bit. We saw at Bristol with the tire; it was a better race, and then you got to go to New Hampshire, so maybe short track racing is making a comeback. Maybe they're actually working, or Goodyear's at least trying to help us make a comeback with it. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Cam though, because I mean Chase ran well all day. He didn't run in the field of Blaney or Byron, but it was kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, it sucked. He's not going to be racing for a championship, but at the end of the day, I think I was more happy we got a top five, top 10 out of it, whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the air on it. But yeah, overall, Martinsville was a good race, good product.
Do we do we know if they're bringing this tire to Phoenix?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Denny said on Actions Detrimental that they haven't tried this tire at this track. So I'm assuming it's the same tire as like New Hampshire because it's essentially the same style of track. So I imagine that's what he means. But just because they haven't run it at Phoenix, because they brought it at Richmond, right? Was the first race they brought it.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen anything as far as the tire compound. I mean, out of my brief look around the internet, they haven't said anything about.
well, I heard it on Action Detrimental. He was saying that they haven't tried this tire there, so I imagine it's the same. It'd be weird to change the tire from New Hampshire. It's the same style of track, like almost to a T.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, if we want to give it some thought. There was obviously some inter-spire drama throughout the race. Hosvar gets spun 3 times, twice by his newer teammate to come, Daniel Suarez, and then one time by Michael McDowell. It looks like that car just couldn't keep it on straight. I'm sure there'll be some awkward team meetings early on next year. But yeah, kind of. I don't want to use ho hum because I want to save that for Chase. But
Yeah.
kind of a ho hum, really solid race, and yeah. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Now we move on to awards are already there. Okay. Terrorist of the week. I'll give it to Daniel Suarez for making such a great impression on his new teammates. Chris, where are you going?
Yeah, you actually took mine. I had Suarez too for the same reason.
That's great. As I fuck this script to pieces. Ken.
Yeah, I mean, I could bitch about the 12 qualifying trim or something, but yeah, the 9 it's Suarez.
BR.
Get the breaking news clip out.
That's right.
Breaking news: Daniel Suarez is now the 3rd or 4th unanimous terrorist of the week.
Yeah. 3rd or 4th. Yeah, pretty sure. Austin Hill got it twice, I feel like. So.
Austin Hill can get it any week if we really try.
Wasn't there some drama in the Xfinity race too?
Nothing crazy. Like I watched it, but I felt like nothing crazy.
Sam Mayer's just a punk. I don't know how else to say that. He was all over Jeb Burton for most of the race. He ran Justin Allgaier up the race and was at the end just talking so much crap. It was unreal, the clips. And I didn't follow the whole race, so I couldn't really say exactly what happened. But yeah, Sam Mayer's not really making a good impression, and people wonder why Cup Team doesn't want to pick him up because he's just a smart mouth.
All right, driver of the week. I'll give it to Blaney for going from whatever it was, 31st to 2nd. Really giving himself a chance to win it there. Listen, you can't win them all, obviously. But he certainly gave himself a shot to do it coming from 31st. That's pretty much all you can ask for at a track like Martinsville. Chris.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to go against Blaney or Byron for just the way they had the race, but I'm actually going to go with the guy you picked, Todd Gilliland. He was in the top 10 for both stages and then finished in the top 10. You don't normally see a car like that finish in the top 10 here. It's normally the super speedways or the intermediates where they just get lucky with a setup. So I'll give it to Todd Gilliland.
BR?
I'm going to have to give it to Byron. He won the pole, swept the stages, won the race. Got the fastest lap point. He swept the whole thing. The whole thing raced his way into Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. So yeah, very honorable mention to Blaney, but I feel obligated to at least have one of us give it to Byron.
All right, BR supports terror. Cam.
I mean, I was gonna do the Gilliland thing, but since Chris did it for me, I'm gonna go with Blaney though.
And by the power of votes, Ryan Blaney is your driver of the week for Martinsville. All right. The one miscellaneous topic I have for you all here is Jordan Bianchi on Door Bumper Clear says the 3 points formats NASCAR is narrowed down to are 1, season long points, number 2, the 10 race chase, and 3rd, a 3-3-4 eliminations, whatever the hell that looks like.
Well, it would just be exactly how it is now. Except
the four race final round. Yeah. Okay. BR, I'll start with you. What do you think about what do you think about these formats? Which one's your favorite? Which one do you hate? Which one do you think will be implemented? Just take this ball and go wherever you want to go with it.
Well, I mean, ideally season long points. would be the one they go with, but I'll believe that one when they see it. But in lieu of that, I was saying this in the group chat last night. To me, it feels like bringing back the chase is the compromise to where so because a lot of the, I don't want to say shills, but the cheap hype officers, I'll call them.
Chief hype officers.
Yeah, it's talking about how they have to execute late. You could still have that with the chase, but you know, you still have to mostly you can't just for the most part back your way into a championship under the chase. I think that's the happy medium, but either to me the 4 race championship round would it be an improvement, I guess, but it's just kind of like the same thing under a different format. So I'm so good on that. But knowing NASCAR, that's probably what we will get.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I put just in my own notes because I'm a lot like Cam. The chase was a majority of my like childhood before the playoffs came around. The only Winston Cup champion I really even can recall was the last one, and it was Matt Kenseth. So, and you can thank him for the format change, I think, going forward. But the chase is, like BR said, I think it's a happy medium. You're still able to like turn it on. I think Cam said like Tony Stewart did it, went like 6 out of 10 or something. It was some crazy stat when he won one of his championships. I mean, you can still have a solid run and, get that kind of championship if NASCAR wants the excitement. They can build it, for 10 races instead of just like the rounds of the playoffs. So, I mean, I think that's a happy medium. Ideally, I'm with most people. I want to see the long point format. I want to see it just because I never really got to fully, witness it in like my teenage and adulthood fandom. But I think the chase would be a happy medium. Now, the 3-3-4, I think the 4-race finale kind of to figure it out is a step in the right direction. But ultimately, yeah, I feel like it's still, two cheeks of the same ass. You're still just kind of doing a elimination round here and there.
Kim?
I mean, they've got, if those are the 3 options, they have a 2/3 chance of doing something extremely popular. So, like BR said, we're probably going to get the third. But taking that out, I mean, yeah, I would love to see a season-long format. They can't go back to the Lafford system, so they'll have to either just go with the point system we have, which, as if anyone's following, when people post that on Twitter, the full season points are great or super close.
Yep.
Because this car is so random in terms of who's good every week. They might have to like tweak it a little to where like wins, maybe you get 50 points instead of 40 or 45 or something. But no, obviously that's preferred. I'd take the chase any day. And kind of like y'all were saying, I mean, the 3-3-4 thingy is better, but everyone would just go, well, why even bother with it? Why'd you even bother giving us that? If you're, what's the difference between a 4-race finale and having a 10-race finale? Like, what does that matter?
Yeah. Do we have any clarity on if 3-3-4 would be a win and in format?
I didn't say from what I saw either.
Because, like, for me, because I didn't really know the other two, all I've known is the playoff. And for me, like, if I was gonna be strapped into, okay, we're gonna have these eliminations things, getting rid of the win and end and also having a 4-round championship is something I could really stomach and feel okay about. But if it is what we have now, just a 4-race championship, I'm still just like not super into it. But
I think regardless of the format, I think they need to go to a sort of system where, like, if you're like top, obviously the season long would be a different thing, but like the chase or an altered playoff format, they need to go to something where, like, if you're top like 10, 12 in points, you just get in. You could have won 0 races. You just get in if you're within that amount of points. So that way, like, you don't end up in a situation a couple of years ago where the 19 and the 12 were, I think, 3rd and 4th in regular season points, and they were battling at Daytona after a rain shower to get in, and Truex was eliminated by like 3 points. So they have to, I think, implement something like that if they're going to keep some kind of postseason, quote unquote.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think they're the good thing here to pick up on here is they're at least hoping to make changes. I think if we can find a bright spot, but and then Cam kind of hinted at it, 2 out of 3 chance that we're going to get something positive. But knowing NASCAR, I could see them easily just going with something like that, the 3-3-4. I just hope that, like you said, I hope there's some changes to it, Caleb, like eliminating the win and you're in and things like that. I think Junior said it though too, and he was talking about that type of format. He said something about like throwing a Talladega in there. Like, why? Is it entertainment purposes at that point? I mean, basically, again, where it's like how it was in the round of 8. Are you going to put Talladega in a 4-race championship just for entertainment?
If you're gonna do that, at least do like Atlanta or something. Like Atlanta at least is entertaining and requires somewhat skill. It isn't totally buck laced, luck based.
Yeah.
Like Dega and Daytona. So if you want to play track, if they did Atlanta, I could probably stomach it. But Daytona or Talladega in a championship round would be a disaster.
Yeah, and like Bianchi's a slime ball, so I don't really listen to a lot of things he says. But Gluck saying multiple times that there's real traction within that like hypothetical room for a season-long format, I do take with some weight. Because like why you put your name to that if that's not true, and 2, that's so out of left field in terms of what we as fans have been expecting them to think about and consider that I feel like there's got to be some there.
All right, there's your playoff format discussion. Powering right through here. Going to be another really short pit. DraftKings. We have some driver props here for the race at Phoenix. Obviously, Championship 4 is Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, William Byron, and Kyle Larson, the last car to get in on points. I believe they're all featured through this list. Yes, they are. Okay, perfect. So let's just go top, bottom. Then we can talk about who we think is going to win the race, and we can kind of talk about the championship at hand. And we'll go from there. So first things first, William Byron versus Kyle Larson.
Byron's just been better.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Byron just because of the whole like momentum thing too. Like you've seen it before with winning Martinsville, how it can propel you to that. So
Byron's worst finish here is 18th in the spring of 24. Otherwise, he has one finish outside the top 5, and that was 6th. As far as Kyle Larson, his lowest is 14th, but his highest is 3rd in the next gen era. He obviously won the race in 2021, but it's an old gen car. We're talking about next gen car, and yeah. So I'll take Kyle Larson because I think he's been slowly and incrementally making improvements, and now you just got to hit the home run ball. I think it's going to be really tight. I think these cars are going to finish within 3 or 4 positions of each other at most.
Yeah.
But I'll take Larson in this one. Got a feeling. All right, Ross Chastain versus Joey Logano.
Logano. When's the last time Chastain was competitive in a race?
This year, yeah.
Even if that wasn't the case, let me take the Penske at Phoenix.
Well, fair, but Chastain did win at Phoenix over Penske in this race not that long ago. But
yeah. Ross was quietly 4th at Martinsville. 11th at Kansas, 9th at New Hampshire. His last top 5 before Martinsville, if you got to go back to his win at Charlotte.
Yeah.
Although P6 at Michigan.
Okay.
But yeah, not an uber competitive year for Ross.
I'm gonna go with Logano too, just because he's kind of been way more consistent than Ross.
You got to imagine Penske, like they've put work into this, even though they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney versus Christopher Bell.
Blaney.
I think Blaney's going to win the race because that's just the most obvious thing that's ever occurred. So
Bell's. I'm gonna go with Bell. Why not at this point? Like I feel like I could see that. Like that would be kind of like the disappointment to not being in the championship for and then winning Phoenix for Bell. But
He's won 2 of the last 3 Phoenix races, and a P5 last year in the fall. Certainly not a bad pick. I'll take Blaney, but I could see this going either way. Kind of like Byron and Larson. I expect these cars to be within reach of each other.
I mean, I think they put together the two best drivers at Phoenix probably in the circuit at the moment. So,
yeah.
And lastly, Chase Briscoe versus Denny Hamlin.
I think it's Denny's year, man. Briscoe's really good here, but
yeah, I want to agree. Betting purposes, sure, I could go with Denny in that instance. I feel like he's
Briscoe wrecked in his first start at JGR at Phoenix here, P35. Doesn't tell me how many laps he got in. Definitely wasn't many.
But he won in the 14.
And he did win in the 14 back in 2022. I'll take Denny as well. But listen, the Briscoe hot streak is real.
I will be different and take Briscoe, even though I very much want Denny to win out of the 4.
Cam already said Ryan Blaney's going to win this race. So throw that in there for our picks. BR, who's going to win this race? Does somebody from the championship win it? Or do we get an outside winner that kind of gets overshadowed by the championship?
I will also take Ryan Blaney to win this race.
Chris?
Winner, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Christopher Bell. I think he's going to upset the playoffs and win just for proving a point. Like, I think next year might seriously be Christopher Bell's year because dude's just gotten progressively better over the last couple years. So I feel like he's cresting.
I will take Kyle Larson. Just kind of feel it coming. Gut feeling. I think he's going to win the championship this year. And yeah, it'll be the last of this format. So you 3, you picked guys who, if they win this race, they will not win the championship. So who do you have winning the championship? BR, I'll start with you because your name's at the top.
Chase Briscoe.
Yikes.
I'm not thrilled about it, but
like not yikes because it's a bad pick. Yikes because not a lot of people would want to see it.
I know what you mean. I'm just clarifying that it's not what I necessarily want to happen, but it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling I've had ever since he won at Dega that Briscoe is gonna win the championship.
Cam.
I think it's Denny's year. I mean, it's proven like a lot of the years in this format that if you win that first race of the playoffs, you have a significant advantage of just not really giving a damn what your car looks like for 2 weeks. And he didn't, by the way. Both him and Briscoe exploded at Martinsville, probably because they were just testing how far that engine could go for the next week. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's his time. Like the whole the cynic in me feels like it's just gonna be William Byron, and we're all gonna come here next week upset. But I think it's Denny's year, man. I think it'll be really good for the sport too, because you wouldn't have said this 5 years ago, but he's probably the most visible driver for like non-fans in the public, and him finally getting a championship, I think would be really good for the sport. So I think. And also be a big middle finger to NASCAR, which we all support.
Chris,
I think it's gonna be a Gibbs car. Obviously, I don't know why. I just don't have the faith in the Hendricks cars right now. But I'm actually, before BR said it, I have Briscoe on my notes. I know the spring didn't go well, right? But this is a totally different team. I think we can all agree on that. Like they've just been totally different the second half of the season. And we touched on it earlier. I think he won here in a Stuart Haas car. So I think he knows how to get around the track. I don't know that he might win, but that's why I'm going with him.
Yeah, and nobody's more annoyed at that one than BR himself because where was this kind of production out of that team when Truex was there?
Well, I mean, the answer is obvious, even though I pretend I do not see it.
I think there's a good chance we could like these four guys. We could have the most ho hum thing in the world. Where at the end of this, we got like they're running like P5, P6, P8, P9, and we're just like, okay, bro, like, can one of you just like do something like Blaney, Bell, and Logano or something, or like 4 seconds off them, and they're all just like, I just gotta
Alex
hold
Bowman
fifth.
wins at Phoenix.
I just gotta hold fifth, buddy. I just gotta hold fifth.
Oh gosh.
Because you could, I mean, genuinely, like, of the guys that got eliminated, you got the 2 Penske cars. Bell, who's the only guy who has seemed to really be in their zip code at this racetrack in recent times. And Chase Elliott, who probably is the best flat track guy at Hendrick, probably. So it's like all the guys you would have thought were, okay, these are guys that really excel at Phoenix, like all got eliminated. Even though Byron has been pretty good at Phoenix, to be fair.
I will say Larson's definitely made steady improvements on flat tracks the last couple of years.
Sure.
Well, it's just Hendrick themselves, I mean, have been pretty nowhere there this year. But Byron and Larson, yeah, have started to figure it out. And Chase to an extent.
Yeah.
But
Yep, and I had Larson winning the race, so obviously I'll have Larson winning the championship because that's how that works.
well, the DQ is going to hit, sorry.
Denny wins the race but gets hit with the Bozempic.
Oh god. The conspiracy theory.
Yeah, seriously. Would anybody believe that for a goddamn second?
No, not at all. And that's going to be in the court case. We're throwing that one up too. If it comes, let's just go ahead and throw that up in the hearing too. It's irrelevant.
He gets his engine Teresa Earnhardted. Like fuck.
Damn it. I feel like it's just like who benefits from a Chase Briscoe win? Like who benefits?
Chase Briscoe, that's it.
Chase
Briscoe.
The dozens of Chase Briscoe fans.
Like,
I mean,
if Hamlin wins, everybody can go, oh my god, he finally got one, and there's the action detrimental and the FU NASCAR and all that stuff. Even if Byron's milquetoast ass wins, at least the Hendrick people can, autistically screech. And
not us Hendrick people.
No, not us Hendrick.
No, not y'all. And like if Larson wins, it's kind of the same deal. But like Chase, like just his wife and her raw milk, like that's it. Like it'd be like the most boring championship ever. Like it would be forgotten in 2 years. Like the average fan would be like, "Who won?"
Oh, the last champion under the playoff format was Chase fucking Briscoe. Yeah, it needed a change.
Like in like 10 years, that's gonna be a trivia question. Like, who was the last champion under the one race elimination program? You're like, so it was Phoenix and Penn. No, no.
Chase Briscoe. I mean, dude, it's crazy the streak like he's went on the second half of the season though. Like, imagine like if he would have had like Harvick, Stewart Haas equipment, we might actually still have Stewart Haas. But at that time, I mean, I think it's crazy, honestly. But it would be cool to see, in my opinion, just because it's his first year. I don't really want it to happen, but like, dude just showed up and yeah, he struggled for the first half, and now he's a championship contender. Like, where did that?
I do think that there is some value into this year, where you look at all four of these guys and you're like, if they win the championship, we're not going to say they don't deserve to be here.
I think Logano's the only one you could have said that about of the 8.
Yeah,
like I think the other 7 is and even Logano, like he was probably the 8th best driver maybe this year, but he was still far off the other 7. But like I feel like we had a rare year where like you go all the way down to the 7th guy and be like, yeah, if he won a title, okay.
Yeah, there's no outliers this year. There's nobody who backed their way into a championship 4.
Speaking of Larson, I don't know if y'all noticed, we are getting the odd year Larson. Well, I mean, it won't matter at this point because this playoff format is going to be gone forever.
Every odd year Larson's made the championship 4?
Yeah, 21, 23, and now 25.
That's wild. This is the second time since 21 that it's been 2 Gibbs and 2 Hendrick drivers. and Denny and Larson were one of each of those, and the other was Chase and Truex. So,
Yeah. All right, we hit a half hour, fellas. I don't have anything else. If anybody does, please raise your hand now. Otherwise, I will get into the outro of it. Chris, what do we got coming this week?
I'm actually going to try to put out some pieces on all 3 championship races, and as well as our picks piece, if my computer doesn't die in the process of that. But at least our picks piece, and then probably a new episode of Mine and the Wasp podcast by this weekend. I'm hoping anyway. So busy week for me, content-wise. But that's about it.
Very good. Yeah, picks piece, I guess. I should get back to writing more, but I'm just like, I'm fried. Like,
yeah.
I get my ass kicked.
It's a long season, man. Like, even like for somebody who doesn't like do journalism in this sport, like 36 weeks damn near in a row, it wears you out.
That's my power
off season is. I like that NASCAR. I like as a fan that NASCAR has such a short off season. But I feel like on this rotation of podcast pieces, like it's just holy fuck. Like, can I get a couple months?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I like the fact that like being a football fan and a NASCAR fan, that like there's like 1 week out of the year that neither one is occurring.
Yep.
But like it gets to a point though.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm excited for a break because I've been trying to do more pieces this year too. I've kept up with my power rankings, so I'll have that out next week after the championship race, the final one of the year. But it just gets, like you said, it gets exhausting doing them all back to back, podcast piece. So it'll be nice for a break for sure.
Alrighty, well, that's all we got for you, folks. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure you share us around. We'll see you all next week for the season finale. So get excited for that. We'll see you after Phoenix.